Oklahoma Football Signing Day is brought to you by Riverwind Casino. Good times, great rewards. Walden Cleaners and Laundry, where the difference is quality. The best place to gear up for game day is shop.soonersports.com.
For Oklahoma, one word captures the heart of it all: legacy. From the legends who carved their names into history to the young athletes who carry the torch today, each generation has added their own chapter to the story. It's a foundation built on the backs of players, coaches, and fans who poured their hearts and souls into this game. Every tackle, every touchdown, every cheer from the stands, it all weaves into a powerful tradition that is greater than any single player or season. Legacy is the bridge that connects us across generations, linking the achievements and dreams of the past to the promise and potential of the future. When today's players take the field, they honor those who came before them by adding their own mark to the program's history, knowing that one day others will take their place. This connection, the bridge between past and present, fuels their determination to not just play the game, but to honor the legacy that shaped it. And as we look to the future, we step forward together, proud and driven by purpose. Today, we take the next step, not just for ourselves, but for the legacy that unites us all.
Welcome into 2025 Oklahoma Football Signing Day, presented by Community Coffee. Family-owned Community Coffee, the official brewed coffee of OU Athletics. Taste the difference family makes. It is that day when those gifts that coaches and fans have been hoping for get deposited underneath the Crimson and Cream Christmas tree. The class of 2025 getting unveiled today. I'm your host, Chad McKee. It's great to have you with us. And to my left, two members of the Sooner football family. This gentleman kind of signed on the dotted line because of a bet that was made at an OU football camp in a 40-yard dash time, and that worked out pretty well. Teddy Lehman, that's right. And to his left, coming out of Fresno, California, Caleb King Kelly kept us all waiting on signing day. In fact, Teddy and I signed off the signing day show. We didn't know what he already knew, and that was he always wanted to be an Oklahoma Sooner. Caleb, great to have you with us as well.
Man, thanks for having us. Yeah, I mean, you got to talk about it. And right now we're sitting here waiting on, I think, one more still. And now that I'm on this side of things, yeah, please just send in your paperwork. We can keep a secret. That's what I did. I'll let everybody know. I told Coach Bob Stoops back in the day, like, hey, I'm going to send it at 7 a.m. my time so you don't have to stress all day. But if you let somebody know, I'm going to be real mad about it. Kept the secret for y'all, so I appreciate it.
Ted, you locked in early, and we're just watching the other signees roll in on your signing day, weren't you?
Yeah. I mean, it was such a – the time is so different then than it is now.
Was there even a fax machine back then?
Yeah, we had to send it by horse.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
Send it over here. No, it's crazy. It's become huge, and I actually love it. I think it's really cool for these kids to get some notoriety. You see all the videos that they put out and the social media stuff. It's a fun time for them.
How you look at what Oklahoma wanted or targeted, maybe specifically on each side of the football, the needs, there's needs everywhere on all teams all across the country. I don't know that it's as specific and targeted maybe as it used to be, but as you looked at kind of what Oklahoma wanted, needed to get, what were those areas, Teddy?
Well, I'll say this, and I think every class that Venables has had since he's been here has been really good that it's spread out and covers a wide base. But, I think offensive line, defensive line, two big needs. And, you got some good offensive linemen in there. I like some of the size they got. There's some good quickness there. And then defensive line. I mean, we know the SEC is it's a line of scrimmage conference. And we saw that this year. We knew it going in. And you're always just going to have to continue to reinforce, get some depth there, and I like what they've done.
You working behind the scenes with Soul Mission in the football program and in the department, what has it been like to watch the synergy? You get one player, he helps recruit another one, and watch this class get assembled, Caleb.
Yeah, I got to give a big shout out to our recruiting staff, Jolie Ali, Chuck Lilly, CeeLo, Curtis Lofton, JP Lossman. I mean, Drew Hill, all the people that do the work and really have beefed up our program. I mean, we have a full room now, CRA room. We got all our recruiting staff, all the support staff. I mean, everybody, there's so many hands that go into recruiting. You have different hosts whenever recruits come in. Every once in a while, Caleb, you got to host this kid. He's from Cali. Go get him. I don't see enough Cali guys on here, so, obviously I'm not doing my job well enough, but we'll work on that. But, I mean, just so many people that deserve love and deserve flowers because, man, it's hard. And it is different, like you're saying. Back in the day, man, you run a 40, you get an offer from Oklahoma. Shoot, I'm going there. Well, a guy from California and the guys now with the NIL and the changing landscape of football always and continually, man, these kids are a little different now. You got to kiss their butt a little more. It is what it is. And you hate to say it that way, but it's the truth. And these people work so hard day in, day out. They got lives, too, all the staff at OU. I mean, they got their families that they got to worry about. They got everything, their current players that they got to continue to recruit with the transfer portal and everything. And BV does a great job at the head of it to make sure that we are all on one page with who we want and who we got to go get and making sure that nothing's falling through the cracks.
Almost feel like you need to have a transfer portal signing day a little bit later on as well when all that gets set. Well, what a great class this is. 17 who have signed so far. Let's take a look at the ESPN Top 300 list of signees that are now signed on the dotted line with the Oklahoma Sooners. 8 in the top 300, 4 in the top 200. You've got 6 from Oklahoma, 6 from Texas, 9 on the defensive side, 8 on the offensive side. So pretty balanced recruiting class when you look at this, Teddy. What sticks out to you most? That monitor's a long way away over there. Can you see that far over there?
I can see it.
Okay.
I like Amarian Robinson. You see him right there on the top of the list, and that's where I'd put him. He's a safety. He's a defensive back, incredible ball skills. He's a playmaker. And I was just talking with B. Hall, the safeties coach, and he was gushing about those guys that he's brought in. He's a standout player, and he's, you look at all these guys, and there's some thoughts, some guys are going to, maybe have a chance to play right out of the gate. He's one of them. And then I look at Elijah Thomas. I think Elijah Thomas, he's an Oklahoma kid, just an incredible athlete. He's one of those guys that, I saw a highlight from him. I think it was at a camp, and it was just one play. And I was like, who is that kid? And he stands out from the crowd. To me, he's one of those players that is going to be incredible. And the second he steps on campus, going to have an opportunity to compete.
Top 300 presented by Air Comfort Solutions, your total home solution for plumbing, heating, air conditioning, and electrical. Make the winning call today. Balanced as well. 8 on one side and 9 on the other, Caleb.
Yeah, and you need that every single year because we're going to talk about it a bunch. We're going to say a lot of the same things, but that O-line, D-line specifically in the SEC, man, it's shown now. We've seen it now in a couple years of building up to this moment and then going through that first year. Man, you win that line of scrimmage, it's a different ballgame. And that's really important, and we've done so well with that. But being balanced in general, there's athletes all over the place. And now in today's world, you might even see some guys jump on both sides of the ball with the Travis Hunters type of guy and different players that we've had. DJ Graham do it, Jacoby Johnson this year. Man, the big thing is you go get some SEC-style athletes now, whatever position they're in, and if they're versatile enough and if they're skilled enough, we got the coaching staff that can train them up and put them in the right position to get them to the NFL, to get them to win in general.
Let's take a look at the position breakdown for the recruits who have signed so far, presented by Mathis Home, official furniture sponsor of OU Athletics. 3 on the offensive line. You mentioned area of need. 3 cornerbacks, 2 safeties. Don't know exactly where they will end up. But, Teddy, what does this tell you, the mix of different players and positions?
Yeah, a lot of balance. I mean, that's been the case, like I said, the last 3 years. Offensive line, 3 quality players already, and then corner. And I think you've got some guys that can really compete at corner. I like the size that we've got on some of these guys. And then, you just fill in the other roster spots as you go throughout. And, I mean, it's crazy because, with the roster limitations and all that stuff, it's a constantly changing environment. And, we've got what you would consider a small class, right, compared to some of the years past. And I think that even though it's small, there's a lot of really quality players in there.
But we've gone now, and we've essentially rebuilt a team 2 years in a
Yeah.
row to get to this SEC point. Now we have the SEC team, and so now we get to hand pick, and I think that's the important thing too for these recruits and these guys that have signed with us. These are hand picked. And so, yeah, rankings and different things, a lot of people like to look at that. Well, a coach has eyes that rankings eyes can't see, and they have conversations, and they know the leadership, they know the guy. And so when you look at how good these guys are, man, it's going to come to fruition when you see them on the field in the future.
Let's get the scoop presented by Community Coffee, family-owned Community Coffee, the official brewed coffee of OU Athletics. Taste the difference family makes. Give us the scoop, fellas. I mean, Teddy, tell us who you are most excited about seeing once they get here and once they get on the field.
Well, I mentioned it earlier. That's Elijah Thomas. He's out of Shakota. He's got really good size. The athleticism is crazy. The production is crazy. And, I always say wide receiver is one of those positions where, you can kind of show up, and if you've got it, you got it. And they can put you out there right away. You can go have a chance to compete and get some playing time. He's one of those guys that I think as soon as he shows up, he's going to start pushing some of the older guys. Incredibly fast, great hands. He's one of those guys, and you hear this from time to time, that, whenever he goes up, he can track the ball and make plays in the air. And you think, well, I mean, don't all quality receivers do that? Not like he does. I mean, he's a guy that stands out, and I remember them saying the same thing about a guy like CeeDee Lamb was the same way, and that turned out to be a big part of his game. So I see some of those qualities in Elijah Thomas. He's great after the catch. Was an excellent kick returner for him at Shakota. Does a bunch of great things. Incredibly athletic. I'm really excited about him.
How about you, Caleb, going to the defensive side of the ball?
Oh, yeah, you know it. I'm surprised Teddy had an offensive guy. I'm impressed with that. But, man, Marcus Wimberly is my guy. Marcus Wimberly is so important because of the person that he is. I mean, athletics, you see him. He's had to do everything for his team this year. Played a little bit of quarterback, running back, receiver, and then on the defensive side of the ball at safety, man, that's where he's going to flourish. Has the ability to cover in space, to be out in space with where it's really hard for a lot of guys to have that opportunity. But, man, this guy is an electric player, an electric person. His faith is big. His dad was a coach. He grew up around football. Just so many good things about this guy. And he's somebody that when you go on Twitter, when you go online and look at the social media, it's always going to be positive. He's always making sure that everybody's together. And when you see a guy that can sacrifice his senior year and do all the things he had to do on offense when he knows he's a defensive player, man, I'm just impressed with the person he is.
One of two safeties, both from the state of Arkansas, Omarion Robinson, and the Sooners will bring them both into Norman. So we stay on the defensive side of the ball and talk defensive tackles. And Trent Wilson's out of Washington, D.C., Wise High School, four-star guy by ESPN, Rivals, and On3. 13 tackles for loss, 7 sacks as a senior, and our Chris Plank was able to catch up with him.
Welcome to the Sooner Nation, Trent Wilson. Trent, congratulations. Take us through what today has been like for you, the culmination of all the hard work to finally be a Sooner.
Today's been great, since I woke up, all the fans and all the supporters, they've been blowing my phone up, but, just congratulating me and, Coach Bates and the coaching staff, they also excited for me, and I'm excited myself to join the Sooner family, and I'm just ready to get to work.
Hey, Trent, can you take us through why you chose Oklahoma? What led you to Norman?
When I first stepped in Norman, I feel like this was home for me. I've been all over the country to different campuses and met different coaching staffs, but with Oklahoma, this just feel like home. With the hospitality there, the family environment, the religious environment. This is what I always wanted. When I looked for a college, and they just checked off all the boxes for me, and that's why I decided to come home and be a Sooner.
When you think you've still got work to do in your high school career, I know, and you're a grinder. But what does it mean to you? What do you think about when you think about wearing the Oklahoma Sooner uniform? What does that mean to you?
To me, it means to bring home a national championship, and it means to every opportunity I get to win with my team and win with my brothers. We're gonna capitalize, and we're gonna make sure that we give all we got, and I'm gonna give Oklahoma all I got, and I'm gonna just, by each week, I'm gonna get better, with my brothers and with my team.
Happy belated birthday, by the way,
Thank you.
right? I mean, yesterday was your birthday. What a great birthday present today. But what's some things you'd like the Sooner Nation, Oklahoma fans to know about you, Trent?
I'm a hard worker. You know, I don't take anything from anyone. I'm a hard worker first. I'm very humble. And you know, I'm just a worker, honestly. You know, everything I've gotten, you know, in the past, I work hard for it. And so like I said, I'm just a hard worker. That's it.
Hey, hard work, right? The dirty work done in the dark, as Coach Venables talks about, when no one sees you. I know that's important to you, but I also know your family's important to you. So, Trent, tell us a little bit about your family.
My family, my mom, my mom, and my dad, they both raised me. You know, they raised me to the man I am. You know, always taught me to, you know, be humble and, you know, never, you know, show too much, but know your value. And just, you know, just work for everything. You'll never take anything from anyone, and you'll never, you know, just be a shower, but always, you know, just stay down and wait until your turn. You know, like they always taught me, like whatever I wanted, they'll just go get it. You know, nothing is impossible. You know, so everything is possible as long as you work for it.
Trent, what was there a moment as a football player where you realized I'm good? I got a chance to play at the next level. When did things really click for you?
Things really clicked for me. I would say once I started this recruitment process, you know, when I started to go around to different campuses and just see that you know, like my talent, you know, like it's a very rare, you know, it's very rare talent that I have, you know, to be as big as I am and, you know, as strong and fast I am, you know, how good I move, you know, it's very rare for a person to have that. And I think before my sophomore season, after my freshman season, that was when things really started clicking for me, you know, with colleges and like seeing that I can really change the generations that come after me, and I can really put my family in a better situation than where we are right now, you know. And you know, like ever since that clicked in for me, you know, it just been on go. You know, I just been on go. You know, I just been locked in, you know, ready to go to the next level and, you know, ready for my family in a better position.
Hey, Trent, we'll let you go on this, and we're grateful for your patience today. But was there a moment where you're like, I'm coming here? Was there a moment that just stands out to you where you said to yourself, hey, this is home. This is the place for me?
Yeah, well, people probably won't believe me, but I mean, even before I took a visit to Oklahoma, I was ready, you know, just by how the coaches were, you know, just communicating with me. You know, they showed a lot of effort. You know, they showed a lot of love. You know, they were very attentive. You know, they were very, you know, passionate about me coming to Oklahoma. And you know, there's a lot of places that have done that, but you can tell when it's, you know, actually genuine love, and you can tell when it's fake love or just like they want you for a football player. But when it comes to Oklahoma, they want me, like, you know what I'm saying, more than a football player. They want me, you know, like to develop me, you know, as a man outside of football. And I think that was what really stood out to me about Oklahoma. You know, like they try to develop the whole person, you know, like we talked with like Coach Basin and the coaching staff. There's been times where we didn't talk about football, you know, just there's been times we talked about, you know, like next like 20, 30 years, what am I going to be doing in my life? You know, they didn't talk about, you know, next 3 years I'm going to the NFL. They didn't talk about anything about that. You know, they talked about, you know, making sure that, you know what I'm saying, like I set the foundation as a man and, you know, just being a man and not, you know, being just a football player, because football not going to last for that long, but you're going to be a man for the rest of your life. So that's, I think that's what, you know, really stood out to me about Oklahoma. I think that's what made me choose them.
The holistic approach, man. Trent, we're so pumped you're a member of the Sooner Nation. Welcome to OU football.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Chris, and thanks as well to Trent Wilson, and a gentleman who I'm sure can't wait to get his hands on Trent Wilson. That is the associate head coach, co-defensive coordinator, and defensive tackles coach Todd Bates joining us. I think we got a little sample of what makes him such a special young man, special player, but you tell us from your perspective, Coach.
Man, he's somebody that you could tell from day one, know what he's looking for, and recognized it when he saw it. He's a guy that is ready to come in and impact his teammates in a positive way, influence in a positive way, and inspire the team, man, to do what's right. And he's hungry. You know, you can see, like, by the way he works and the things that he puts into the game. Man, he's been a winner. Like, this Friday night, he's going to play for his 4th state title in a row. So he's won won a state title 3 years in a row already, and he's in another one. So he's just put in that work, and he impacts everywhere that he's ever been. And he hit it off with our guys right away when he came on campus. Him and Jaden Stone and our guys that we have here already have a bond that's going to last a lifetime. And it's been a real deal, man. And like I said early on, when I first reached out to him, his questions were different about Oklahoma. It's like, Coach, y'all really interested? He said, if y'all want me, come get me. I said, I'm looking for something real. And you can tell that we were different. You can tell that, you know, by being on the phone with my son, JoJo, and him taking an interest in my son and what he's got going on in his life. And I don't think other coaches were doing that. And, you know, Coach, it wasn't just me, it's Coach Venables, Coach Alley, Coach Chavis, our whole D staff, Coach Hall, Coach Valai, everybody reaching out and showing that love and playing that role of uncle. And because it takes a village, and that's what we have at Oklahoma.
What are some of the characteristics of this class as a whole that you all wanted and know can help move Sooner football forward in the next few years?
Well, man, not only are they talented, man, they have the intangibles to be leaders and to come in and impact that way. And by what they do, doing what's right, man, you just never know how big that is. You know, not being with the wrong crowd, being a focused, determined, and driven person who's locked in on what they really want later in life, not just right now. So that's what you're going to see, man. They're guys that are about family. They're about faith, and they love football, and that's what you want. You want them to love their opportunity and be grateful for it, and that's what they've been, man. So we're excited to get them all rolling in here soon.
I know Trent. He's a DC kid, and this class is all the way across the country, which is great. But how did he first get on your radar? What would you see in him that said, I got to track this kid down?
Well, Coach Chavis recruits the area, so he actually pointed him out to me. He's like, man, this dude here, he can do it, and his tape just jumps off at you. You see the twitch. You see a guy moving faster than he should with the size, and you can project what he's going to be because he's nowhere near what he's going to be. But he's been working, and he's already 285. And so that's about, you know, Stone came in, he's 277. So he's coming in with a little bit better frame and just already committed to doing the work that it takes. So, but when he told me to come get him if we're really interested in him, I could just tell he was different, man, and he's locked in. That comes from his dad as well, man. His upbringing, his dad, he got a solid anchor right there in them. People to, you know, that's his compass, and you can tell he's been raised right and been taught about hard work and about accountability, and that he doesn't get let by with anything. So he's going to add a lot to us, man. Can't wait to get him here.
Coach V earlier said, man, he looks 40.
Oh, yeah.
He looks 40. I was like, you watch him in the video, you can see it. Coach, I got two questions for you. One that a lot of people in here are going to love. You know, you're an Alabama grad getting drafted from Alabama, and, man, a couple weeks ago right here at home, how did that feel to beat your own alma mater like that?
Well, it wasn't the first time, but it felt great. You know, it was a great experience, man. We just know how hard our guys have worked, and that was like it was good to see them put it all together, and to show that, man, this is what we're capable of. You know, after a tough season that we've had, and guys just finding a way to come to work every day, they inspired us as a staff because it's real easy for a young man to go through adversity. You know, some of them for the first time in life by themselves, the freshmen, and some of them have won all their life, and then, you know, the ball don't bounce your way. How do you respond? And that's what life comes down to. So we learned a lot of life lessons, and these guys have really put some sweat equity in and grew emotionally and physically as men. And, man, we got a great product returning for next year that Sooner Nation should be excited about.
Who are two or three, maybe others in this class that fans should be on the watch for, Coach?
Man, I'm going to tell you what, I'm excited about our safety class. Coach Hall did a great job of bringing in Amarian Robinson and then Marcus Wembley. And those guys, all the intangibles that I just talked about, you would think these guys are cut from the same cloth as Trent. And they have a bond already. Like they have a group text and have a relationship that has grown as this process has been on. I just think that those guys, Billy Bowman, this season. The tangible that he brought, the leadership that he brought. These guys, man was a little banged up toward the end of the year, and he started coaching his teammates and still pouring in, being invested in the outcome each week. He could have just totally unplugged and worried about himself and pushed his teammates. And Marcus is, man, he's a versatile kid, man. You played every position that you can think of. You could just call him Slash, and we're excited to have him coming in as well, man. He's been one of the anchors in this whole class. He's the one that gets it going.
Coach, go ahead. Oh, my bad. Coach, you talk about this in a lot in our staff meetings. You talk about this a lot on social media and things when we're sending out to recruits. But Jaden Jackson, David Stone, and our young guys, our freshmen, Eli Bowen balling out this year, we play our freshmen. And so how often do you talk about that with your recruits?
Well, man, that's a big part of it because, we get them ready to go. Like if they're ready to go, if they come in and they have, their body is ready, and Smitty has a big part to play in that, but also their high school has a big part to play in that. They come from a good weightlifting program. They come from a good football pedigree. And we've got a track record of getting guys ready to play. And in our defense, man, since 2015, we've had, and I'm just talking D-line alone, and I can give you the numbers on other positions, but on the D-line alone, after this season, we've had 7 freshmen All-American. And that's the hardest place to play because it's the most physical day one, and most bodies aren't ready. But those that come in and they put the work in and they have the learning capacity and they handle things the right way, because there's a lot of things being thrown at you. All of a sudden, you was under mama's roof, eating mama's cooking. Now you're under your own roof and you have some guidelines and you have a schedule to keep, but how well do you stay on it? How well do you manage that time? And man, Coach Venables and our staff, we've been just on point with our evaluation as much as we have our recruiting.
Coach Bates, congratulations. We appreciate you making some time for us up here.
Yes, sir. Thank y'all.
That is Todd Bates. He is, let's give it up for Coach Bates. Coach Bates, the associate head coach, co-defensive coordinator, defensive tackles coach, and he segued me perfectly into our next guest, and it's a guy who came to Oklahoma, got all the right messaging, and built himself into a pro now with the Las Vegas Raiders. That's Jonah Leulu, and Chris Plank was able to catch up with Jonah this week.
It's signing day, and 2 of the greatest nations in football stand up. Sooner Nation and Raider Nation. Jonah Leulu joins us, current member of the Las Vegas Raiders, Oklahoma Sooner standout. Back home, right? Hometown of Las Vegas. Is that where you grew up? What's that been like for you?
Yeah, I was born and raised in Las Vegas, actually. It's been really crazy, really surreal. Every time we come back from our away trips, just driving on the bus back to our facility through like the strip and seeing all the lights and everything that I've seen my whole life growing up it's just really crazy. It always hits me then that I'm back home, and just how crazy the odds of that happening.
Can you take us through the path? Because you were drafted by the Colts, end up on their practice squad. The Raiders have a need. They liked you a lot through the draft process, and boom, you end up in Las Vegas. Christian Wilkins goes down. Jonah Leulu slides in, and you've been playing not as many snaps in college, but playing a lot of snaps. Take me through the path that landed you with the Raider Nation.
So it was crazy because back in when I was training for Pro Day, actually on Pro Day at the in the indoor, I talked to one of the Raider scouts, I think.
Was it Calvin Branch?
I can't remember, but I don't know if it was before or after I did everything. And they came and talked to me, and they're like, we really want you to come to our local day, all that. And, they gave me their contact information. And then when I actually went to the local pro day is when they really saw me, and like they liked how I looked. They liked my workout. They said, I really stood out. And so, they were saying they actually wanted me during the draft, but obviously I got drafted by the Colts. And then, they had kept their eye on me throughout preseason and all of that. And then as soon as they saw that I got waived by the Colts, they made the decision to come get me. And, it's been worked out ever since then. honestly the best situation I could have got into. So it's just really crazy, like how everything's played out.
Colts were trying to be sneaky. They were trying to get you back on their practice squad.
Yeah,
the Raiders saw it, and they got you. All right, so take us through that path, right? Not only in ending up in Vegas, but to go from an edge guy who comes to Oklahoma, you reinvent yourself both physically and positionally through the watchful eye of Miguel Chavis and Todd Bates. Just take us through that path and the importance of the development that you got from Oklahoma's coaches, specifically on the defensive line.
Well, so, our coaches on the defense, Coach V, Coach Bates, Coach Chavis, they saw when I came in and when I went through, spring ball when I got there in 22, and then throughout fall camp at the beginning of the 22 season, they were saying how, I looked more comfortable when I would, move into the inside or, whenever I'd make or do stunts in the inside and whatever. They said I looked very comfortable and natural on the inside. And they're saying that, maybe next year that I could possibly try going onto the interior defensive line and like spring ball. And I told them whatever, I'll do whatever it takes, if that's what would be the best for like team and for me. Because, they know what they're talking about. They've been around some guys, from their coaching careers. And, Coach Bates coached up a great defensive line back when he was at Clemson before he came to OU with Coach V and Coach Tave and all them. And because I've been able to work with one of the players that they coached was Christian Wilkins, and just seeing him and talking to him while I've been here. We talk about Coach V and Coach Bates all the time, and how different or like how they were back then when they're over there, and then I'll tell them stories about how they are now, and they're literally the same people as they were before. And so, they definitely know what they're talking about. They've seen guys. And so I trusted them. And, obviously it paid off in the end.
Yeah. And I think we can't talk about that enough, Jonah. And you hit it on the head. They haven't changed. They're still the same grinders. They still love football, and they're still all about development. That had to be pretty awesome to hear, right?
No, yeah. Just hearing the stories from Christian about how Coach V and Coach Bates were back at where they were before and to where they are now, like it's literally the same person. Coach V, saying the same stuff, Coach Bates being the same as who he is, it just shows you that, they know what works. They know how to coach, and, they're not going to change. And they know it works. And obviously it worked with me, and hopefully it works with some of these guys that sign with us in the future.
So we can't go all the way back to 2018, Jonah Lulu signing day when he signed with Hawaii. And I'm sure the process was a little different whenever you ended up at Oklahoma, but we can use you as a resource. So help us better understand some advice, some maybe words of wisdom you would give to this upcoming class to really help them embrace and understand what playing Division I college ball, specifically at the University of Oklahoma, is all about.
So when you come to the University of Oklahoma, you might be the best at your high school, wherever you're coming from, or if you're at a prep school or anything like that. You might be, the best player there, the dog or the man of the team. But when you come to Oklahoma, you will be humbled by the players that are there, the coaches that are there, and Coach Smitty. You will be humbled by Coach Smitty. You will be humbled by Coach Smitty. I can say that 1,000 times. He will be humbled by Coach Smitty because – they don't really play that like, oh, you're a superstar, you're bigger than the team. Everybody comes in and everybody's the same. Everybody puts in the same work every day, working hard. And what really separates you from everybody else is the extra work that you put in. And when you come to Oklahoma, you got to expect to work. And if that's really what it is, Oklahoma's work. We work hard and we play hard, and that's at practice. That's in the winter. That's in the spring. That's through the summer. We work hard, and obviously that we translate that to the season and how we play. If you come to Oklahoma, I promise you won't regret it.
Jonah Lulu, congrats on all your success, and thank you so much for joining us here on signing day.
Of course, thank you.
Of course, Plank would get that in at the end about the Raiders, but a couple of things there above and beyond to get Jonah his 2025 Oklahoma football recruiting sweatshirt from his location, and a nod to Jerry Schmidt. We are in Schmitty's house right here.
That's right.
This is where the work gets done, right here at the Switzer Center. We're joined by wide receivers Coach Emmett Jones now. Coach, signing day, congratulations to you. Tell us what it's been like, how you put this class together.
It's pretty much been operated the way that we expected. We knew who we assigned and who we'll get. We knew that months ago. Just awesome to see it all played out the way we predicted, though.
So if you would, take us through. We're going to, I think in just a moment, we're going to hear from Emmanuel Choice. What a great young man, and Elijah Thomas, the special skills that those two guys bring to the table. What you saw in them when you first started evaluating players out there.
Just freak of nature is both of those guys going to fit in well with the SEC, because that's pretty much what you see, on a week-to-week basis. And those guys both love University of Oklahoma. They want to come in, come to work, and they're going to love to face anything that we present to those guys as far as getting better and competing. So they come from successful high schools and both won plenty of games and played major roles on their football team as a whole. And that's what we're really trying to bring into this program to help us get to where we want to go.
What are some of the big factors you look at whenever you're going out there? I mean, there's a lot of really good receivers out there these days. What are some of the things that you're trying to focus on when you bring guys in?
Confidence and guys that love to compete, for one, guys that love the game. Then, of course, you want guys that can pluck the ball, with their eyes closed. Look for guys that have good body control, guys that can transition, explosive, great ankle bend, knee bend, and hip bend. So you look for that when you're trying to evaluate guys. And then guys that's nowhere near their ceiling either. That's what you want. You want guys that's really pretty much just tapping their skill set and have so far to go to reach their peak. So once they go here, then we'll help them get there. Once they come here, we'll help them get there. But both of those guys displayed that. Had a chance to work both of those guys out, and just explosive. And both were successful on the track also too.
Coach, I look at both of these guys and Emmanuel Choice, and I see the confidence out of them. I mean, on the recruiting trips, and they just know what they want. And I know that in the conversations with you and things that you elevate guys on the mental aspect. What do you see for these guys' future?
Both of those guys have a chance to be great Sooners. They have the traits that we look for when it comes to playing the position, the wide receiver position. Then they both, they can do so much. They can help us on special teams also too. And that's a huge factor of really what we're trying to do. We definitely want to dominate the special teams game, and they do that with their high school programs also too. But at the end of the day, both of those guys are just extremely loyal to the University of Oklahoma. So much was coming their way, but at the end of the day, the families and themselves were dedicated and excited about being committed to the University of Oklahoma, just ready to get here.
How much do you evaluate their abilities in other sports? You mentioned Emmanuel Choice is a guy. He's a hurdler, 110 hurdles, 300 hurdles, and then Elijah Thomas has played both sides of the football during his high school career and coming up. How important is that versatility in some of these athletes?
Well, you look that tell you that guys playing multiple sports, they love to compete, especially if they're running track. That's an individual sport there. So and what those guys are doing on the track, it says a lot that they are dedicated and hard workers and love to win on a high level when it comes to competing also too. So that's huge. You want guys that's that love the game, but also love to compete from an individual standpoint also.
You've been around the game for a long time. How have you seen the wide receiver position evolve since you've been coaching?
I have. Guys are technical on the junior high level. These guys are really investing in learning how to play the position. And that helps you out a lot once those guys get here. They already have some type of skill set, sort of like what you've seen in Jacob Jordan from this past season. Once he reported last January, he immediately impressed the older guys. Once we worked those guys out, they were all impressed with what he showed. And he just kept his head down, just kept on working, But that's what I'm seeing, guys on the young level, even from Pop Warner level all the way up, man. These guys are already getting to work in with their trainers in their local towns and already enhancing their skill set. So that plays a major role as far as knowing what you're doing and knowing how to do it.
You went and got them in the receiver room. Talk about some of the other positions on the offense, and as a staff, how do you feel about some of these guys coming in?
There's so much I can talk about, but, Bill Beanbo standing out to me. I can talk about one offensive lineman, but there's three that's on my mind. Owen Hollenbeck, he come from Melissa High School. I just love his thickness, his stoutness, his just so stout, you know. And you can see him surviving Coach Bill beating Bo on a day-to-day basis. Just his mindset. He's very grit. I think he's going to digest and soak in what Coach Smitty has to present also, too, because he comes from a great program that loves to work, and he has the right mindset that Coach Bill Beaton will love also. Then there's Ryan Folger, athletic, offensive tackle, still playing today in the state playoffs in the state of Texas. Have a big game this Saturday against Duncanville. So they have his hands full, so we'll get to see him play on a high level there. But he does a great job. Then there's Darius Afalawa coming from the state of Utah. You know, just a nasty, nasty football player that won a lot of games. They all are winners. And the uniqueness about him is that you can move him around up front. He can play multiple positions. So at times, you might get in a sticky situation where you might have to move certain guys to last.
How important nowadays is the holistic approach to athletes? Build more than just football players. The mind, you know, the body, the development, and preparing them to go on in life. How has that changed, and how important is it these days?
That's huge, especially coming from an ex-high school coach and a parent of a Division I athlete. You want your kids around someone that's going to develop them just as much off the field and on the field, because you can only play the game so much. And I was just listening to Coach Bates talking about the season, saying that it definitely wasn't the season that we wanted, but in some ways it was a season that you wanted. You know, look at my room. I was playing with 18, 19-year-old freshmen. This time last year was still playing high school ball, you know, but I think those guys accomplished so much when it comes to developing themselves from a life standpoint. You know, you saw the improvement with those guys as far as them growing up. And that just added to the layers that we're steady creating on this team as far as bringing in great quality young men. You know, you just want to build levels, and that's going to help create the longevity of just being successful with this program. So it's huge off the field development.
You're writing the bio on Emmanuel Choice. Give us what the highlights are and tell us about this young man.
Man, this dude is explosive. He loves to dominate on the perimeter without the ball. Works hard. He gets that from his father, Mr. DeJuan Choice. Definitely, he has 4 young boys, and he's showing those guys the right way as far as how to treat people right, do the right thing. And it's all comes from hard work. Definitely get rewarded for hard work. He's a good God-given man that's poured into his kids, especially Emmanuel. He does a good job as far as representing characteristics and traits that his father has instilled in him. But he's a player. I say that he's playing in the SEC of Texas high school football right now, and he performed well on a week in, week out basis. Playing outside receiver, inside receiver, not a selfish guy. Like I say, he loved to win without the ball, but when the ball does come his way, he's a thief in the air. Come to steal the ball.
Wide receivers coach Emmett Jones with us here on this Oklahoma Football Signing Day 2025. You heard him talk about Emmanuel Choice. Let's hear from Emmanuel right now with Chris Plank.
Emmanuel Choice, welcome to the Sooner Nation, man. What's today been like for you?
I mean, from the start, I signed bright and early, so I just been getting shown love all day from the Sooner family, so it's been great.
What has helped Emmanuel Choice find that next level and separate you from the rest?
I mean, there's no secret recipe, man. Just from the start, putting in the work, being consistent, you know, trusting the people around me, surrounding myself around people that's elevating me, and just trusting in God is all God's plan. And just going to work every day.
That's awesome. What led Emmanuel Choice to Oklahoma? You were very sought after, one of the top prospects. What really drew you to Norman?
I mean, it was just love from the start. You know, I trust what what OU is doing. I trust in the coaches. I trust in the players that they're bringing in, surrounding me around. So it's just the trust level I have for those guys, and just buying into the program. So
you're going to be working with one of the more physically impressive wide receiver coaches I've ever been around, in Emmett Jones. Great dude. Tell me about the connection that you two had with each other and what he's meant to you through this process.
Yeah, like I met him my sophomore year, and he's just a real guy, man. I learned a lot from him. I'm excited to learn a lot more from him. So just a guy that I could trust, a guy that I felt that was authentic and had the best intentions, you know what I'm saying, as far as me. So that's just a guy that I trust, and that's why I'm here.
I want to ask about Emmanuel Choice, the person, but first, since we're on football, Emmanuel Choice, the football player. What's Oklahoma getting in Emmanuel Choice, the football player?
They're getting a playmaker. You know what I'm saying? I call myself a playmaker. I'm just ready to get down there and make some plays and shock the world.
What are they getting as Emmanuel Choice, the person? What kind of person? What do you like to do? What's Emmanuel Choice like away from football?
I mean, I like family, food, all those things. I'm a pretty simple guy, you know what I'm saying? But I love football. I know you said aside from football, I still love football. Just a great guy, you know what I'm saying? Do the right things when no one's watching. And just a guy that's down to earth.
Yeah, it's great to hear, man. Tell me a little bit about your family, Emmanuel. What have they meant to you, and maybe some mentors that have helped you through this process as well?
Yeah, all the people that surrounded me, you know what I'm saying? They're very supportive of what I'm doing, and I appreciate that.
Is there anything special that, as you know, you and I are talking today, it's day one of you as an Oklahoma Sooner, but you mentioned being a playmaker. What more do you want Sooner fans to know about you as you get ready to put on the Crimson and Cream?
I mean, I enjoy the support. I really appreciate it. I really do. Like, I know fans are going to be fans, so I'm just ready to get down there and go ahead and get started with this stuff.
I got two more and I'll let you get out of here. Number one, can you pinpoint the moment whenever you realized you wanted to be a Sooner? When was that moment where you knew this was home and this was the place for me?
Yeah, like I said, it started early on with Coach Jones, meeting him and falling in love with the program. So, like I said, that's why I'm here. That's why I'm signing to the University of Oklahoma. Just from the start, I felt the love, and I just bought in from the very beginning.
And I just, in watching your tape, I don't think that you minded, but physical, dude, you don't mind blocking at that receiver position. How important is that at your position, and how did it take you a while to embrace the physicality of it, or Emmanuel, did you like it from day one?
I mean, like my coaches always told me, blocking is a mentality. You know what I'm saying? And you make a big block in the game, I'm talking about like your confidence just goes way up, and you just blocking is a mentality. You know what I'm saying? So I don't mind it at all.
I love it. Emmanuel Choice, welcome to the Sooner Nation, man. We're so grateful that you have chose Oklahoma and can't wait to see you perform in front of 80,000 plus.
Yes, sir. I'm excited to get down there and make this thing happen.
Can't wait to have him here. Thank you, Chris, and thanks to Emmanuel Choice, one of the 17 signed so far on this National Signing Day by Sooner head coach Brent Venables and his staff. Coach, welcome in.
Yeah. Happy signing day.
Yeah. It's changed a little bit over the years, but this one in particular, how did it all come together for you guys?
Well, for the last really probably year and a half, you know, we've been working together with both our front office and the staff, identifying guys that we needed to target, and just building the relationships. You know, that's really you just stay consistent. You reach your hand out, and you start building relationships, and you find out who's attracted to the right things. And again, it's a small group of guys. You know, guys that we know without question, can make us a lot better. And so coaches do a great job of finding out who the real players are in that process, whether it's coach, it's mentor, it's mom, it's dad, it's auntie, it's grandma, whoever it is, uncle, agent. Now you got to add that on the Rolodex, and again, just being consistent and genuine, and getting them back on this campus, and as many times as you can, and if it's meant to be, they're going to be attracted to all the right things that we're about, and we try to be blatantly honest, in the process. Like, paint a picture of it's going to be one of the hardest things that you've ever done in your life, and we want to say who's going to run from that, and then who's going to run towards that, and just the discipline, the accountability, the hard work that it takes, the development, the patience, and what you're going to have to overcome, when you get to college, and being a great teammate and all those types of things. So you walk them through the things that you value, and you challenge them to ask them again the things that are really important for them. The whole development piece. Football is an incredibly important piece of that. Jonah referred to the development piece. They all want to be developed. To have an opportunity to play this game a long time, and we can facilitate that. We have a staff that has a long resume and pedigree of doing exactly that, helping these guys play at the highest level. But we want them to dominate when they're in college. But there's a piece too that these guys are going to live a long life without the game of football. So, we have to always be, mindful of that, just helping them become strong men, but using the game of football to do so. So those are the things that, that I would think would resonate with if every one of the recruits that we signed today and in the last several years, their families would, testify to that we mean what we say. Things aren't going to get changed up once you get here. It's going to be exactly like we've said it was, maybe even better, because you're in the middle of what you always dreamt for and what you've always asked for.
You mentioned it's a small group of guys, 17 guys, but it's really balanced. Did you cover all of the position groups you wanted to?
Yeah, 17-ish, right? Yeah. So, but we did, and we had a couple of preferred walk-ons as well. But we hit every spot on our team, and with the 17-ish, we were 9 on defense, 8 on offense. We addressed both lines of scrimmage. We were talking about just. There with Manny Choice and the receivers. We signed 2 excellent receivers, and Elijah Thomas out of Chakota, one of the best overall athletes in the country. He's one of the fastest guys in the country. They do the sports science catapult ratings and tracking guys that have played high school football this year, and he hit a 23+ mile an hour mark in a game here late in the season, which is really, really fast. And it's funny because I never looked at him as like, oh, he's a guy that he's a blazer. I never thought he was slow by any stretch, and that speed was an issue. But I looked at him as an overall, his athletic ability, and because he can play on both sides of the ball. Isn't that right, Coach Emmett Jones? But he literally does. He sends myself and Coach Hall once a week. He'd send us the defensive clips. He played safety for him, but just an overall tremendous athlete. Everybody in the country tried to come into Chakota, and he was our first commitment a year ago in the summer 23, and he hasn't flinched. Zero drama. One of the most low-maintenance recruits that we've ever been around. He's incredibly grateful. He's got a great frame. He's got long arms and just huge hands. He's got great football intelligence. And tremendous worker, great leader, super humble, but he's also confident. Nothing that he can't do, and all of his best football still in front of him. And but he cares about being a great teammate. That's one of the coolest things that, y'all watch a highlight tape and you don't know what you don't know, what you can't see on tape, and just an amazing human being. But Manny Choice, you saw there, what an impressive young man. He's got an amazing family, dad, and got an army of brothers, and they're all exactly like Manny. Really humble, hardworking, thankful, grateful, and an absolute assassin on the football field.
Protect home turf.
Yeah.
6 from Oklahoma, and I consider Texas home turf, as I'm sure you do as well. But 12 of the 17 that you've got so far have come from Oklahoma and Texas. How important is that?
It starts inside out, and the young men and their families that got to be good enough. That kind of goes without saying. You got to be good enough to help us compete at the highest level, and but also people that understand, respect, and value what Oklahoma has stood for such a long time, and because you want them to be attached to something, in a transactional environment more and more that college football is becoming. You don't want to lose your way. You want them to have a value system that respects and appreciates and embraces and runs towards the success and the excellence that this program has represented for a long time. And because once they get on campus, everything gets really hard, like we talked about. And so you don't want them to grow weary in that regard. So that's where it starts for us, and I think you can win a national championship within 7-8 hours of this campus. That's been proven over time. And then, we're a brand that can open up any door in America, coast to coast. And so we'll always, evaluate that as well and see if there's genuine interest, and see if we can, throw the pole in the water and if they'll bite. But we do have great balance, and you hit it on the head. The state of Texas is a home base for us. There's a tremendous, Sooner alumni following there, and it's always been a part of this locker room that has helped us be great. And so those are the 2 areas that that are most represented in this class. And the state of Arkansas, I've always thought, and they do a great job in that state of keeping their guys home. It's not an easy place to go into, and we got the top 2 defensive backs and 2 of the best players we feel like in that state, in Amarian Robinson and Marcus Wimberly, 2 safeties that are great players. And, Amarian plays at Parkview, one of the best programs there in that state. And he's been, a dude there since he's been there as a freshman. And his senior year, unfortunately, was cut short with an ankle injury, but he'll be back new, better than ever when we start up here in January.
It's a line of scrimmage sport, and it's a line of scrimmage conference. How do you feel like you address that on both sides?
Yeah, no, we really feel great. And offensive line-wise, again, it's a group that super athletic, but also physically dominant and physically tough. Darius Afalava, top lineman in the state, one of the top players, top probably 2 or 3 players in that state of Utah. A great state, and that'll be a place that we try to continue to go recruit, because there's really good quality high school football there and great players. But Darius he's a super athletic guy, is actually athletic enough to play tackle, but we anticipate he'll be an inside guy. Funny, a year ago, he just showed up to a game. Coach Beatonbow had been talking about him a lot. I don't know if they're going to make it or not. And they've said they were going to try to come several times, and they showed up to the game right on time, so I didn't get a chance to see him and meet him, he and his mother, prior to, and then I met him after the game, and so that was the first in-person meeting. And, man, I must have hung out with him for, I felt like a couple hours, and I was like, can we start this process over, because I didn't want him to leave campus. She was amazing, he was amazing, he had all the right stuff to say, and then he looked like an NFL prospect right now, and I didn't want him to leave campus. But Bill did an amazing job identifying him early and getting him here. And one of the coolest things, and you know it when you see it, you know it when you don't, and you immediately either click with people. And most of the time, most of these guys, their first experience here was a great experience, and that's how they got back. It very seldom, is that not the case. And what they were looking for was exactly what's important to us. We value the same things. And again, there's a football piece, and Bill can attract the best linemen in all of high school football. Nobody has developed guys better in the college game than Bill Beatonbow. And so he has that reputation that follows him. But he also did a great job of finding a family that is about the right stuff, everything that I've already articulated that are really important to us, whether it's education, having a football family, being a place that's going to push him and challenge him, like push him to the edge. This is a group of guys that they want that challenge. But Ryan Foje, one of the most undervalued offensive linemen in the country, he was on campus a couple of summers ago. Our high school football camps are one of the most important things that we do in recruiting. To identify Teddy Lehman, somehow he snuck in the door through that high school camp, and was discovered. I'm like, this guy ain't normal. And but Ryan was identified when he was not on the radar, and Bill put his name on him. So I don't care who's offering him, nobody's offering. We're going to offer this guy. And over the last 2 years, he's just developed and bloomed into one of the most underrated and most dominant linemen in the country. I mean, he is incredibly athletic. He's a Nigerian, got a wonderful family, low maintenance, high performer. This is a dude. And then Owen Hollenbeck.
He's gigantic. He's gigantic.
He looks as good as any one of our players right now, and he loves the weight room. He's a state powerlifting champ. I don't even know the numbers. They're like numbers like, why are you lifting that much weight? Like 700 pounds, like on the back end. But he played out of position a lot this year out of need for his team there at Melissa, which is where Nigel Smith was from, a really great program in North Dallas, north of Frisco there. And but he's a guy that his sister, actually, she's a rower here at the university. And but he's a guy that's committed. He loves the weight room, and he loves to work, and just a tough physical kid, man, really athletic for a big dude. And then Sean Hutton from Louisville High School, Lou. Give them a shout out. One of the best programs in the state of Texas, a program that has been really good to the Sooners for a long time. So Sean is a versatile offensive lineman, plays inside and outside both, and a really good football player, tough, physical, excellent student. So we're really excited about those guys. And then defensive line, C.J. Nixon, Alex Shield Knight. A couple of years ago, we identified C.J. and I told the staff that'll be the #1 player in the state in a couple of years. And Ray Charles could have, he could have identified him as well. But and sure enough, he has, and he played on both sides of the ball and can stand up, playing a 2-point, can put his hand in the dirt, can really run. He's got a great frame. His dad is 6'9", Curtis is 6'9", and super athletic family. His CJ was a great basketball player. His little sister, she's even better, the CJ, but comes from a great program out there at Weatherford, so he knows what to expect. And then Alex Shield Knight, he came to camp too a couple of years ago, was the best defensive lineman that we had at camp by a long ways. He has a tremendous get off, really twitchy, can really rush the passer, super physical, also played tight end, might even be a better tight end. And we haven't ruled that out. Alex is open for whatever, but he loves to hunt and fish, push iron. He likes to whoop people on Friday nights, and then that's it. Just a guy that he loves ball, and he loves his family, and he loves the University of Oklahoma. Just so, Arkansas amongst others. Arkansas's got a great, following in eastern Oklahoma. We know they're not been, and they have been relentless. And but he has stuck with us without any issues whatsoever. And then Trent Wilson out of Washington D.C. And Trent he looks like a 40-year-old right now. He looks like an NFL player, and he's just done a great job. He's committed to the weight room. Cares about his diet. He's just a really committed guy. He's really physical. He's got great twitch and get off as well. He and his dad Hardy have come here several times, which is not an easy trip, but they've really sacrificed a lot, and they attached themselves to Coach Bates and Coach Chavis. Their staff does a wonderful job there at his high school, developing and coaching, but he's a guy we think can come in and jump in kind of like Jaden Jackson and David Stone did a year ago. The reason is he's got really good fundamentals. He's physically, he's able to hold up physically. He's got great natural strength to him and really committed to the weight room. And then he's got, super athletic feet, can really, get off, and fundamentals, that foundation, kind of like Jaden. He had this fundamentals that translate, to defensive line play. Play with low pad level, so he plays with great leverage naturally, and then knows how to put his hands on people and get off of blocks. The things that, it takes to survive on the interior D-line.
You mentioned your safeties, Marcus Wimberly and Omarion Robinson. Tell us about your corners, other guys that might play on the back end. Yeah, just they got length, they got speed, instincts, ball skills. They're tough and physical. Probably the lightest from a weight standpoint is Tristan Haynes. Plays everywhere for Carl Albert. Again, another one of the best programs in the state of Oklahoma. And they all have high football IQ, and they're super confident. And I really do. We feel very strongly that all three of those guys will show up day one, and they will blend in. They won't stick out because they're unsure of themselves and those types of things, or maybe they're a long ways away. But Tristan is the lightest, but he plays like he's 215 pounds. He's a really good aggressive tackler. Like the other guys, but they all have, again, great ball skills, highly recruited. Cortland Gilroy, he probably had his best year of his high school career. He had it, the back half of his senior year, and they used him on offense, they used him on defense. He played wildcat quarterback. There wasn't anything that he couldn't do. Matter of fact, he and Foje, his team, they played in the playoffs. Foje, they eliminated Cortland's team, but and they all have a lot. Malik is probably the most quiet, and then Tristan. Cortland speaks for everybody. He's one of those brash DBs that Coach Valai loves, but it's a fantastic group of guys. It's been really cool because that's been a group of guys we've been focused on for a long period of time, and so they've had a lot of time together, and it's a real natural chemistry with that group of guys already.
You're also able to add a quarterback to the class late.
Yeah, so really interesting story with that. It originated with Darius Afalava. he reached out and asked me if I knew of this quarterback, and we had been looking for a young quarterback. We had some bad news a few weeks ago where our quarterback had been committed to us for a year and a half, and we've been very loyal as 25 quarterbacks. We had a long line of guys that want to come to the University of Oklahoma, and a lot of people are okay with a guy being committed and just kick him out and take another guy right over the top of him. And we've been very loyal that way, and so he's going to go to another school. So we really felt the need to, if there was a quality quarterback that we could find, and there was genuine interest. So we looked at several guys, but this is a guy that Coach Arbuckle had actually recruited and had on campus several times there at Washington State. We found that out afterwards. We were already interested. Our offensive staff, some guys identified Jet, and comes from a fantastic program there in Salt Lake City. He's a winner. He's got great pocket presence, tremendous accuracy, can really push the ball down the field. He's got good feet, really good feet, and you'll see him consistently climb in the pocket with all different types of looks, pressure. This guy's really polished, and been a long time commit to Oklahoma State. He's looking for the right things. We had a great opportunity. Like I said, he's a proven winner, and a guy that can immediately the day he comes in here not have to be a quote-unquote developmental, if you will, kind of guy that needs a lot of work. This is a guy that knows how to play the position at a high level from where he's coming, and then he'll need a little bit of weight and strength added to him. But other than that, this is a guy that we're incredibly excited to get here in just a few weeks.
You never have too many running backs. Torrey Blaylock, tell us a little bit about him.
Yeah, so Torrey, one of the most dynamic and explosive running backs in the country. And Coach Murray did a great job at building a great relationship and identifying him well over a year ago. And wonderful family, athletic family. His dad, he trains and coaches, and he's got a younger brother that's a stud as well. But he also uniquely, he's part of a national record-setting 4x1 team a year ago in the spring, and they ran something like 38.92. Maybe I think they beat Duncanville and set the national record. And so pretty special. It wasn't like it's a record for the year. That's an all-time record. And so as you see here, man, he's got game-breaking speed. He's really special. He's got great hands, tremendous vision, great balance, plays tough and physical. I would say he's probably in that, I don't know what we listed him at, but he's probably in that 190 to 198 range, and but home run hitter every time he touches the ball.
Yeah, Derek played in the NFL for I think it was 7 years, so he got that great pedigree. And I think you have a special guest with you today.
Yeah, so it just so happens it lines up. We hired our offensive coordinator a few days ago, and they happened to get in late last night. So I think he got out of HR. We've been torturing him with the HR people all morning. And I just wanted to bring up our newest addition to our staff, Ben Arbuckle. You guys give it up to Ben. And I think he's gonna sit down for a couple of questions. And I want to recognize his better part, his beautiful wife, Lauren Arbuckle. Welcome, Lauren, as well. Come on up, Coach.
Yeah, we'll let him grab that headset right there.
Hey, before you ask questions.
No, you can ask all the questions, Coach.
No, I'm not going to ask, but I just, an interesting factoid that once I started zeroing in on Coach Arbuckle was the first time that Coach Arbuckle and Lauren went on a date was in 2012 to the Notre Dame Oklahoma football game. So somebody raised that. Somebody raised that girl right, and so she comes from a Sooner family, people that out there in Canadian Texas that love the Sooners. So that actually helped the process. True story. So and but know a lot of the coach with our staff. They know a lot of the same people, being from the state of Texas and out there in Canadian as well, and but really fired up to have him in front of everybody. This is the first time the media they didn't get a chance at him today, and so you all are the first ones. So
awesome.
Have at it.
Yeah, give us an idea, the journey, the path that led you here to Oklahoma. Tell us a little bit how it all came to fruition.
Yeah, so, just a few weeks ago, the conversation, Coach Venables gave me a shout, and I mean, instantly we're on the phone, and it took me all of 2 or 3 minutes to really hear his vision, hear his passion for this place, and immediate attraction, right? Take aside everything that's fantastic about this place, the rich tradition, the rich history, just hearing from the man himself what this place means to him and what he sees the future of this place being is something that I instantly wanted to be a part of, right? And so just with continuous conversations with Coach Venables and further gaining the trust from each other, which I think is pivotal in everything, Coach Venables gave me the opportunity, and I had to run to it. And so proud to be here, very proud to be here. Me and my wife, he kind of alluded to it. She grew up a Boomer Sooner. I mean, went to basketball camps here, been going to games her whole life. And so our first date, I wanted to make an impression. So I took her to an OU game. And here we are, 12 years later. And we are very proud to be here, and we're ready to get this thing rolling.
Well, take us through your offense a little bit. What should people expect to see from your vision of what you're going to bring here?
Yeah, I think the first thing, you said it. This is a conference of the line of scrimmage, right? And the first thing that I always want to do is make sure that we establish the line of scrimmage in all forms, establish that intent of dominance, right? And who better than Coach Bedenbaugh and Coach Finley to set that, right? Set that vision in motion, okay? The best in the country, they're here, and I can't wait to work side by side with them to do that. The next thing is, everybody likes points, right? Yeah, I like points, so everyone here should like points. So, everything that we can do to move the ball down the field, put the points on the board, play complementary football with the defense, right? You play full team football. I think that is pivotal in the success, not only of an offense, but of a program as a whole. And so just doing that, continuously working together, and be explosive, right? Explosive plays win. And so that's what you can expect. That's what you're going to see, and we're going to get to rolling on that as soon as possible.
Have you had a chance to dig in and look at some of these recruits and familiarize yourself? And what have you seen, if that's the case?
Yeah, no question I have. Just been able to dive in a lot, especially the last 2 or 3 days whenever everything was kind of getting settled and everything. And these coaches did an unbelievable job, right? And everybody in the personnel department and everybody in scouting did an unbelievable job of finding the right talent, not just talent, finding the right talent, acquiring them, and bringing them here to OU. So I see playmakers all over the field. I see the right kind of guys. Some of these guys, I know they're high school coaches, right? And so maybe I've been to the high school and I've heard of their character and everything. These are the right guys for Oklahoma, and everyone in this program did an unbelievable job with this class.
So what's next for you? Like, how do you, whenever you're here, and how do you implement all of this and move forward? What's the process?
You attack it head on, right? The biggest thing is, first and foremost, meeting all the staff, right? That's the biggest thing. How can you get on the same page if you don't know the guys, right? So meeting all of them, but just diving headstrong into this, being willing to have unbelievable communication at all times. Where communication lacks, negativity fills the void. And so just being on the same page at all times, diving in the film room, starting to get to work on installs, getting with the offensive staff, boom, finding exactly what we want to be, right? I know what we want to be, but working with them and collaborating to make that vision happen. And so that's the first steps to it, and we're going to attack it.
Coach Venables, his staff, everybody, you're still familiarizing yourself with it, but you've been around the sport, been around the game, the brand that is Oklahoma. What did that mean to you as you were out there and looking for that next stop in this destination?
It's a dream. It's a dream. I grew up 3 hours down the road, and so OU's known everywhere, but especially where I'm from, I've had some people from where I graduated high school play here, right? And so there's never any hiding from it or anything. And so whenever it popped up, it was a dream, right? And the brand speaks for itself. It carries its weight everywhere you go, and it's something that I'm extremely proud and honored to be a part of.
Coach Venables, I know you're excited to get him in the fold on a permanent basis, working with your guys.
Yeah, and I think Ben could probably testify. Have you been able to have some conversation with any of our guys?
I have. I've been able to hop on the phone with quite a few quite a few players and staff members and everything. And the common theme that I get from everybody is the culture that Coach Venables has built here, right? Everyone speaks the same language, has the same mindset, intent. And again, somebody who's, signed, sealed, and delivered, right? It keeps on just even more building my love for this place and the vision that I can see, boom, going forward under Coach Venables' vision. And so fired up about it.
Congratulations.
Appreciate
It's great to have you. And Coach Venables, congratulations on Coach Arbuckle and a wonderful signing day.
No doubt. Appreciate you. Thanks. And again, incredibly thankful for everybody here. Everybody plays a part in us being able to attract, a great recruiting class. And so whether that is the wonderful facilities that we have, certainly the development piece and the things that we need from that standpoint, the NIL is a real thing in this day and age with, basically a salary cap getting ready to take place where everybody has got to align with the same numbers there. The NIL piece that's more organic is going to be a tremendous difference maker where programs can separate from those opportunities through the NIL process.
Coach said it was 17-ish. So for further updates on this class, keep it tuned to Soonersports.com as that evolves throughout the day. We appreciate all of you, Coach Venables, Coach Arbuckle as well, and thanks to Coach Jones. We appreciate everybody who joined us here. For Teddy Lehman and Caleb King-Kelly, I'm Chad McKee, and we appreciate you joining us for Sooner Football Signing Day 2025, presented by Community Coffee.
Good job.
Oklahoma Football Signing Day is brought to you by the Sooner Sports Podcast is your all-access audio pass to Sooner Sports. Listen as Toby Rowland and Chris Plank talk all things Sooners. New episodes drop every day. Log on to Soonersports.com/podcast or search Sooner Sports Podcast in your favorite podcast provider. Presented by Allstate and Riverwind Casino. Thank you to our cornerstone television partners, OU Health, OG&E, Fowler Auto Group, and Coca-Cola.